One sunny afternoon, Cosmo the cat was lazily draped across the door frame, his favorite lounging spot. The soft rays of the sun bathed him in warmth, and he could hear Nibbler the dog happily chewing on something in the living room. A high-pitched squeak occasionally pierced the air, followed by a contented woof. Cosmo's ears perked up. That squeaky sound had a rhythm to it. It was oddly hypnotic. Cosmo squinted one eye open, looking toward the living room. Nibbler was there, playing with her favorite toy, a bright red squeaky chili pepper. The toy was shaped just like a spicy pepper, and when squeezed, it made a noise that sounded suspiciously like a fart. Naturally, Nibbler loved it. But Cosmo, he just couldn't resist the temptation. With a sly grin, Cosmo carefully stood up, stretching his back, and crept toward the action. Nibbler, too busy trying to get the chili pepper just the right angle to chew it, hadn't noticed Cosmo's slow and deliberate approach. The cat's paws barely made a sound as he slinked across the floor. He was a professional. No one could move like Cosmo when he was on a mission. In one swift, expert motion, Cosmo pounced on the chili pepper, grabbed it in his mouth and bolted for the hallway. Nibbler was still lying on her back, belly up, distracted by her own tail. The squeaky pepper was now her nemesis, but Cosmo had already made it halfway to the door frame, and the chase was on. Nibbler's head snapped up, her eyes widening as she saw Cosmo zoom past her, the chili pepper dangling from his mouth. "Hey, that's mine!" Nibbler barked, her legs scrambling to follow. But Cosmo was quick, and he knew just where to go. With a leap, Cosmo darted up into his favorite perch, the doorframe. There he sat, looking down at Nibbler with the most mischievous of grins. He held the squeaky chili pepper in his paws like a trophy, rolling it around, clearly having no idea how to actually play with it. Nibbler, panting and confused, sat below him, looking up at her stolen prize. "I just wanted to chew it," Nibbler whined, tilting her head. "Why do you always take my toys?" Cosmo let out a satisfied purr and casually flicked the pepper with his paw. It landed on the floor below with a loud, obnoxious squeak. Nibbler's tail wagged furiously, and she eagerly scooted over to the toy. But as soon as she reached it, Cosmo grabbed it again, pulling it out of her reach with an exaggerated swipe of his paw. "Not so fast!" Cosmo purred, eyes sparkling with amusement. Nibbler's head dropped in defeat for a moment, but then a light bulb seemed to go off in her doggy brain. With a determined bark, she started doing the one thing Cosmo never expected. She, the chili pepper. Nibbler turned her attention to the door frame, sniffing around the base, and with a single mighty leap she launched herself right into Cosmo's perch. Startled, Cosmo lost his grip on the toy and tumbled out of the door frame with a dramatic yowl. Nibbler, victorious, snatched up the squeaky chili pepper, squeezing it for a triumphant fart-like squeak. Cosmo landed gracefully on his feet, his pride slightly bruised, but his mischievous spark still alive. "Fine, you win this time, Nibbler," he muttered, but he couldn't help but admire the dog's unexpected move. As Nibbler proudly pranced around with her chili pepper, Cosmo silently plotted his next grand heist.